the most trusted name in news.
More than 10,000 students expected in the nation's capital calling for a power shift. Not a shift in leadership, but a shift in America's energy policy. Marcie Smith and Tony Anderson are part of Power Shift 2009, and they are joining us now live from Washington. Hi, guys. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Tony, I want to begin with you. Tell me what Power Shift is.
I think Power Shift is a assemblage of students, about 11,000 of us, with one mission. We're saying this is our future, and we're demanding a clean energy economy. You say we have to make sure that we engage communities where they are, and everyone must be engaged across the spectrum. And students from Appalachia, students from the South, students from California, students from Puerto Rico, we're all here with that one united message.
Yeah, we're looking at some great pictures right now, too, of some of the other events that you've held. Quickly, you in particular, and I want to talk about Marcie's project, too, but you co-founded a project called Let's Raise $1 Million. It sort of brought you into all of this. What is that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it started with the power of one light bulb. You know, it was a gift. I went to a summit, and I was presented a compact fluorescent light bulb. A few days later, I gave about 30 of them to my mother as a Mother's Day gift. Overheard a conversation. She said, "I'm going green." I was like, "All right, Mom." And so we're trying to replicate this conversation over and over again among communities of modest means as a way to start the conversation about sustainability, about climate change. And I think especially in the fiscal situation we are in now as a country, we can find savings in our household bills, and that's how you do it, with one light bulb at a time.
Yeah, and Marcie, we were talking about 10,000 people. We won't, just speaking of climate change, we won't talk about all that snow up in Washington, D.C. right now, so I certainly hope it doesn't impact your event too much. I know you're hoping for about 10,000 people to come today. Your project in particular sort of brought you into all of this, has to do with low-income housing. Tell me about yours.
Well, actually, I believe the project that you're referencing is something called the Kentucky Clean Energy Corps. That is an initiative that Steve Beshear's administration is working on back in Kentucky. And yeah, the first initial phase of that is aiming to weatherize low and fixed income homes in rural Bourbon County and northeast Lexington. But actually, what I've been working on more specifically as a student, I've been working on a lot of climate justice issues from the local level, the state level, the national level, as well as the international level. And I think that's one of the really, really cool features of this movement in particular, is that this is a movement of profound and historic solidarity and reconciliation. You know, you have in this group of 10, 11, pushing 12,000, you have the daughters and the sons of the civil rights movement, of the suffrage movement, of the labor movement, and all of these sort of veins of equality movements are all coming together under the banner of climate justice, which is really, really important and profoundly historic.
Well, what do you expect to accomplish today in Washington?
I think what we're attempting to accomplish is that in one voice, students are saying we must advocate for these decisions. You see, we will be here longer in this millennia than those before us, and so we want to take charge of our destiny and step into our authority and share those thoughts with our legislators. John Lewis is my rep, and we've already had that conversation. We're really excited about what's going to come from that conversation. So yeah. I think that's where we're engaging, and that's where we are. Well,
obviously, I'm sure that you probably heard the president's address to the joint session of Congress on Tuesday night. When one of the first things he mentioned was energy as a way to boost the economy. Marcie, if you were president, what would you be doing on the forefront of the energy issue, if you would? What's the first thing you'd do?
That's a very, very big question, and a very good question. I think that, right now we have a president in office who is, really excited about the fact that youth are engaged. And so I think the question is right now, what would I do if I was president, but what can we do now with a president who is ready, to help us, who is ready to back us up? I think that it's really important to remember that 300,000 youth pledged to make climate justice, to make clean energy a priority in their vote. And that was reflected in November.
So real quick, gotta let you guys go, but does the president know you're there? You gonna get a meeting with him?
Oh yeah, he knows we're here.
He knows we're here.
You've been yelling loud?
And we're sure the snow won't hold him back.
Absolutely.
All right,
can't hold 12,000 people back.
You keep us posted if, in fact, you get a chance to talk with President Obama. That would be very cool. All right, Tony Anderson and Marcie Smith. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, it is pretty to look at. Tough to get around in, though. The snow is mostly stopped in the Carolinas, but the problems, of course, still around in different parts of the country. We've got live reports coming up.